Everyone, it is August 15th. It's 2:15 Seattle time, but it's 4:15 Texas time, which is where Catherine Kazelius was from. When I was a kid, I had no idea what Bon Jovi was thinking about when he went August 7th, 4:15. I really thought he got divorced because I can't think of too many activities where a time would be thrown in there, right? You normally don't talk about a birth of a child with the time in it, or I was thinking 4:15 was when the judge signed off on the divorce, and because the whole song was kind of sad, right? I really didn't pay attention to the lyrics. English was my second language, so I really didn't pay too much attention to the rest of the lyrics. I was a kid when this song was popular. But we like to fast for to mourn the loss of family members. I have a family of 8 billion here on Earth, so this is a family member of mine that played quite a role in my childhood because that was one of my favorite songs, and so I'm fasting. But there's an Unsolved Mysteries episode about Catherine. I'll let you Google that, and I am intrigued that it is still unsolved after 24 years. It was 1996. Trying to think what I was doing around that time. I would have been 9 years old, just a little bit older than Catherine. And my family and we had just moved across town. We lived in a suburb of Pittsburgh, and I used to have a very atrocious lifestyle. I certainly wouldn't have thought about fasting. The other problem is that I was very carefree at the time, right? I talked about how fasting brought me a lot of freedom today, but at the time my parents were cooking for me. They were doing the driving when we were going out to eat, and so certainly wasn't thinking about that, right? That certainly I wasn't living with roommates. We didn't have dirty dishes. My parents were very clean, so we didn't have dirty dishes. They certainly didn't eat all the time, like how I used to have a compulsive eating problem, right? Makes you realize how much all of this stuff is costing you, right? But I last year I had 2 years ago I had lost a job over compulsive eating disorders. But last year I gave myself a rough time. Obviously we have COVID-19 this year, but last year around this time I was living in my car, right? I used to live in my car 8 or 9 months out of the year. The biggest barrier, believe it or not, for me at least, was not the safety or the isolation or anything. It was food, believe it or not. I would get really consumed about where to go so I could plug in my crock pot to cook something, and now that I think back at it, I was spending multiple hours of anxiety thinking about where to go to cook, all that just to be able to enjoy a meal that might last 20 minutes, right? Life is so much simpler when you consolidate and do an intermittent fast every day, right? Eating once a day, or at most twice a day, right? Anything more than that. The other thing I noticed today is how much cleaner my electronics are, right? My computer doesn't get all greasy, and the keyboard doesn't have debris stuck in it, and how much simpler it is, how much less frequently I have to put on hand sanitizer. What else? I'm trying to think where else my life is getting. Oh, the messes in the car. I used to get molten chocolate all over my car or in between the keyboard. I remember 4 years ago, I had totaled my car. I was driving a Honda Accord at the time, and the insurance adjuster got very nervous calling me, asking me what kind of animal I had. He said there was animal poop throughout the interior of the car, and when I told him it was molten chocolate, he laughed. It was disgusting, apparently, when they took apart the car. But yeah, life is so much simpler when you eat less frequently. And where else is life simpler? Obviously, if you're eating once a day, right, and you're not trying to satisfy cravings all the time. I can't tell you how many times I've woken up at 2 or 3 in the morning in the past, just just having the weirdest craving and wanting to go out to look for whatever I was craving. Obviously, you can't do that in the COVID-19 world because very few grocery stores are open 24/7 anymore. That has kind of put the kibosh on that kind of behavior, right? Um, where else is? Oh, obviously, when I see, part of the barrier that got me to stop doing this was that I had a student. I was doing tutoring, and I had a student who uh, wouldn't leave on time. Right? No, he came early. Sorry about that. He came early. I had 30 minutes in between two students, and I went out to go get food, and I went back to the classroom to eat because I don't want to sit in my car to eat. I mean, it was in the winter time. I don't want to make a mess in my car either. So I went to the classroom, and he showed up early. And I'm trying to motion for him to get out, and because it's a tutoring center, I don't really own the center, and so it was just awkward. I'm trying to motion to him that I really want to finish my meal. He doesn't pick, he's an honor roll student, and sometimes he has the smarts, but he's not very observant sometimes. Sometimes he's learning chemistry, and you would think household chemicals that everybody has seen. He's never you could tell he's never done any chores around the house because I'll ask him what I'll be showing him a chemical, and I'll tell him that this is used in aspirin or in laundry detergent or baking soda. He has no idea what those things are. What you would use. I'm not talking about the chemical formula, but what aspirin even is and what it looks like in the bottle, and that's pretty common in a lot of Generation Z folks for some reason. That's most of my clients are Generation Z, so that's pretty common among them. But I feel so free, and I don't have to worry about my client showing up too early or too late, or I don't have to worry about things stretching out a little bit. I'm fasting anyway, and obviously I have other things that I don't like to be interrupted in doing, but at least I have one less worry. Let's put it that way, one less, and hopefully the other things are easier to put aside, right? I usually don't get too angry when I'm trying to write a computer game and I get interrupted by something else, right? I can certainly use some other stimulus in my life, but when I want to eat and somebody interrupts me, that's when I really get angry for some reason. I was actually talking to a friend of mine about this, and he said that it's pretty normal to get angry. It's kind of like the dog in Pavlov's experiment when you're prepped up to eat or something like that. That's why I want to get prepped up less. When I eat once a day or once every 2 days, and I have a very controlled environment, I'm not going to schedule my once a day meal right after a tutoring client, right? So it's much more controlled environment. I mean, certainly other things could happen, right? World War III could break out just as I'm about to eat, or COVID-19 or whatever, right? But hopefully that's not a daily event that's going to cause me social strife, right? Thanks for watching.